Hey everybody! Alright, so we're back again for another stream here. Wow, music is just intense right now. To take on some Unreal rigging here. See if I can help that a little bit. Hey, we got Dave here. I think during the open session I was like, this week I was like, I'm not even going to make it to the stream this week because I'm going to be off on holidays. But that didn't work out because I remembered I have a Q&A today. Last Q&A for callouts on this term. So I am back and I'm still here, which is actually working out fine because I gotta finish this robot rig first of all, but also next week we are doing a real-time 3D webinar, which there's a link that you can go to, cgspectrum.com webinar, become a real-time artist, and sign up yourself to join it if you want to. It's going to happen next week on the 17th, which is Tuesday in Eastern Time world. And we got a few of the different mentors who are going to come and join the chat. We've got William, Deepak, and myself. We got Nordy. Is that Oliver? Hey! And chat. Welcome. I don't know who that is, if that is not Oliver. Hey, there it is. Alright, welcome. And so, in the webinar, we're going to talk a little bit about how to, trying to introduce the tech art course that I've been secretly talking about the entire past few months on the stream. Trying to promote the fact that we have this awesome course that's coming out in on the beginning of September, and we already have people signed up and we have intakes lined up and ready to roll. So if you're interested in learning more about what the course is, then come and join us for this webinar. Also, it's going to be recorded, so if you miss it, then you can still find out, but it's a chance to kind of chat with the different mentors of the different departments that we're going to be teaching for the course, whether it's technical animation or world building or virtual production. And you get to ask questions about the industry or what kind of insights we have on that front. And there's we just had a meeting today again with the different crew that are working on building the course, and lots of fun information that we can share for the webinar to keep everybody interested. But anyway, so that is one thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned today because it's my opportunity. Next week, I may not be doing a stream next week, so I think we are trying to make some plans to actually enjoy a bit of the summer before it disappears. And I thought it was going to be today, but apparently it's going to be maybe next week. And so... what am I trying to say with this? I'll see if anybody else maybe wants to jump on the stream. Otherwise, we'll just take a break. But I really would like to get this control rig wrapped up, finished, ready to roll. Maybe we can get some animations done today, and see what the rig is like to work with, so that A, I can pass it off to other animators, but also B, we have something to chat about in terms of what our character can fight with when it's in the air. I'm not even sure where I'm going with that one. It's going to be kind of crazy. I have to build like an AI character now. I don't really know how that's going to work out. But what we did in the open session this week with students and the group that are making these animations is we worked on trying to get the jump working. We have it now so that if you're running, it'll jump right away. And if you're not running, you're going to get a jump anticipation. So like little subtle stuff like that helps make the game feel a little more believable. And then the other fun thing is when you jump now and you hold shift, you can actually go into like a floating mode and travel around as a floating person, and then when you let go of shift, you fall back down again. Oh, and then if you hit shift while you're falling, apparently it breaks it. So we have a bug that I didn't know about before. Or is it? Does it matter if I just let go of shift? Will it ever? Oh, we don't have a a way to get out of that branch for some reason. That's weird. Anyway, we'll work on that one. But normally you can just come in and out of this state. I don't know why that one didn't work. And so the idea that Renato told me about later on was that this is allowing us to actually fight the robot, because the robot that we're working on has helicopter wings. So why not allow them to also fight, and you can use a special attack for fighting while you're in the air. So maybe it'll be kind of fun. We have like swarms of robots coming at you and you're attacking them from different angles or going over different types of obstacles. We actually have maybe a little bit of a gameplay concept getting sorted out just through trial and error. Oliver says, new stream, new bug. Yeah. When is it that you don't have a new bug, that just try something out and you're like, oh look, I've just discovered something I didn't know about. We could get into trying to solve that bug, but I'm going to leave it because there's too much information that hasn't been followed in the previous stream, so it's not worth going through. Today, if I can do it, I want to talk about how to do the top part of this flyer rig, where we have to get some sort of control that gets it to spin, which I haven't really got a good strategy for that yet, but I am kind of curious to figure out how we can do this. And then we also have, you know, maybe a way that we can get it so that we have a preset animation that brings these chopper wings in or not. But geez, I don't know what the right thing should start with. I was gonna say what we should start with is just see if we can get that overlap motion on the end joints, because we have a bunch of series of joints that were purposely made just for allowing that to flex a little bit. And that is something that we've worked on in previous streams, so I know it's possible. And it would be kind of fun to add that in. So maybe we should do it first, in case we find out that it conflicts with the other stuff. So let's get to work and see if I can get something figured out. Once we get that spinning figured out, the rig is pretty much ready to roll. Maybe we should get that node in there first, because there might actually be some hierarchy changes that's required if it doesn't work out so good. Alright, so I'm gonna make a new controller for this, and it's gonna be for we're just gonna try to keep it real simple here, and we'll call this spin control. And we're gonna put well, first of all, we gotta get it to be in the right spot, so let's move it near to where it needs to be. And we're gonna set the initial to closest joint so that it's in the right place. We're going to get the controller, which has the right position, and now what I want is to control each one of the blades. So we're going to set rotation specifically. How come just bringing that in has broken everything? Oh, because it's set rotation to 0 right now. Alright. Ah, yes. Well, that might be a trouble. If its orientation is not defaulting to 0, we may have some problems here. Why are there two of them being affected by one joint? Oh boy. We may be heading off to Maya sooner than I anticipated. Alright, so we have a transform and we have rotations. Let's just put the rotation in there. Oh, look, that suddenly made it look better. And then let's see if by chance this is gonna work. We're definitely moving not the node I thought I would be getting. They're parented to each other, right? Like this is the, oh, did I, blade base 01? Yeah, blade base 01 should be the parent of all these other child joints. It's possible blade base 01 is skinned to the other ones, and that's all that's going on here. Let's try a different joint. Right, so that has 0 influence. The other one has 100% influence. So we have a skinning issue here. Oh, and then we were supposed to say propagate the children to get the other joints to move. That makes sense. Oh yes, and as soon as I did that, they all went to a different position, which I now remember was something I may have to work with, because they all go into the same default position. Alright. Blade 03, set rotation. Oh wait, I'm just getting the same spin controller though, which has 1 orientation, so maybe that's fine then. What I really want is its default rotation and then it to be additively modifying the rotation. If I get rid of these. Right. Well, we're definitely going to be heading to Maya, that's for sure. And then, once I've done that, I'm going to have to also figure out how do we get the transform of the control to apply to each one of these joints, but in an additive sense instead of a complete override. I don't think there is initial. No, there isn't actually. There's this one. Oh, that's interesting. I went into a different direction. Initial is defines the transform that's retrieved, current false, initial true. Initial transforms for bones and other elements in the hierarchy represent the reference poses value. This character, it's tough to tell which direction its default front is because it's symmetrical in all ways. So if I'm looking at the X, it looks like if I'm not dictating which direction to point them in, they go down the X. And if I am, it goes down the Y. It's kind of weird. Alright, we're going to jump over to Maya and we're going to see if what's going on with these joints. It's possible I have to re-skin them. And then also, I may have to basically, I'll know as soon as I deconnect the skinning, it will, the meshes will jump to a new location. Oh, also, another thing with this project is that Renata has set up a channel for it now, so we actually have a special banana channel where we're going to be able to, you know, communicate and work on our project a little more closely, and hopefully, you know, get people hooked up to the SVN so that we can work together on this a little more closely. But I think I'm going to probably package up a zip of this once I get this rig working, and just post it up in that channel for everybody so that they can just download it and play with it without having to get all the SVN figured out. Okay, so these meshes have skin clusters on them. If I take them and say I want to unbind the skinning, well, they don't actually move, so that seems promising. I rotate this. Oh, yeah, that definitely is being influenced by only one joint. Seems to be this one. The other joints are fine, it's just this one seems to be having the skinning of all the places. So let's quickly jump over to the paint skin weights for this geometry. Open up the options for it. I guess I can just double click and take a look at hierarchy for. We got this one, and then blade base 2 has 0 influence. Yeah, makes sense. Almost wonder if we could just remove these influences from it. Forget how to do this. There's a way to prune it. Oh well. We'll go through the process of locking down the ones we don't want to influence this geometry. I don't know if I want to lock it down though. Let's see how this works. I forget. Grab this one. Oh yeah, so it inherits the locking from the other ones. Alright, so I basically want. Currently, the blade base 01 is influencing this propeller, and this propeller. And so I need to get rid of it from this one and add it to this one. So I think I can just flood it at a 0 value. And that might actually work in my favor here. So flood value of 0. And then that was the other propeller. And then this one, oh, it didn't take any of the influence here. It's too bad. Let's make sure I haven't damaged anything from this one. So like propeller post has some influence on it. Yeah. The base 01 is still there. So propeller post shouldn't have any influence on this propeller either. This one hopefully inherited some of the extra spot that was missing there. And so I can lock these ones down. Oh wait, no, not yet. I gotta take it out of this one as well. So blade 01, I need to take it out of here. Now I can lock that. And so we should be looking at blade 02. Oh, actually this is blade 03 right now. Let's just worry about this one. So blade 03 has some influence on the other joints, no influence on the base here. So I should be able to paint, add values up 0. We add 100% influence right on the tip here. And maybe reduce the opacity. This is the other way to do it. I could actually, let's try smoothing it. We'll do smooth flood. And we'll try to take up more of that control as it tapers over to this side. And hopefully it blends okay. I have to do a joint animation for this. And so let's say that is fine. We lock those down, unlock these ones, grab the other geometry that we need to fix, which is this one. Same story, the base. See, the propeller post has influence here, so let's replace opacity 1, value 0, get rid of the influence, and hopefully the influence is already gone from this one, but propeller post actually still has influence a little bit here, which is not good. So track that, lock it down. So hopefully the post is only affecting the post geometry. We jump back to this one again. And we have some influence on post 2, 0 influence on post 1. So I come in here and paint this with additive value 1. So it paints it white. Maybe we'll do both. It's a lot easier because it's low poly, so there's only a couple of verts I have to worry about. Then we'll do a smooth. Smooth flood. That's taking influence away from Blade 02, Blade 03, Blade 04. So, in theory, that has fixed the problem. Let's make sure that this post is actually influenced by post. Color post. We'll just flood it 100% white just to make sure. Lock that down again. Alright, let's save it. Probably should do a bit of an experiment with the skinning, but let's just bring it back over to Unreal and we'll find out how it looks when we actually start manipulating it. We can come back and do a little bit of tweaks to the skinning later, since that's one of the luxuries of, well, it's just a good practice in general when you're doing skinning and rigging, is you don't have to necessarily get your skinning 100% perfect. You could do tweaks to the skinning right on the last day of development and it would still be fine, but you got to add a new joint, then, or especially if you add a new joint in the middle of the hierarchy, then you got a lot of problems on your hand. But it's just tweaking the skinning a little bit. It's no big deal. Alright, so grab the geo, grab the joints, and am I forgetting anything? It's fine. Alright, export selection. I'm gonna put it on top of the skeletal mesh. File. No animation, just the smoothing groups. Place. Jump back over to Unreal. Grab our skeletal mesh. Just do a little re-import. Save all. Jump back over here. Okay, so at least what we're getting is more consistency with the, you don't have that sloppy rotation in the geo, but we're still needing to solve something else. Initial pose, I think that's one of the problems. Turn that off. Didn't want that on anyways. Now we can rotate it, and they're all in the same direction, which is kind of what it's saying. It's like, take the transform of your controller and apply the rotation to each of the joints, which isn't really what we want. We want it to apply to each of the rotation of the joints, but with their initial offset included. And let's see if we can figure that out here. So we're talking about global space. Maybe we can change this to local space. No. Change that to local space. Definitely changes its position. That's not what we need here. So local space is pretty helpful because instead of saying your like world position coordinates, you're just saying how far is it offset from previous joint, which is a much simpler number to work with. So we may actually want to do that. It's funny because I just finished switching it all over, so let me dump it all back in. And then what we have to do is somehow get the position of the bone before it was rotated, which we should be able to do. And there is another way to do it, which might be useful, I think, where you can create a new space. We drag that in. Set relative transform. Maybe that's what we should have been doing. Alright, let's try this first before we get into that other idea. Blade 01. We don't want this one anymore. Oh, that looks good already. Wait, we haven't actually told it to do anything yet. So there's going to be a 0 values for your transforms, but put the rotation in there. Yeah, I don't really know what to say on this one. Why is it doing that? I feel like... Oh, I haven't said propagate to children. There we go. Oh, we got something working. Okay, so let's do, instead of set rotation, we're going to do set relative transform. So we're gonna get, so let's not do the new space thing. There was a fancy functionality that I was gonna have to try to remember how it works, but you know, it somehow would have given me a place in the world to reference from or something, but I gotta figure out how to do that again one day. So set relative transform. I guess in theory I can just get rid of these because I know I'm not going to use them. And we'll do this for that one, and then 3. Oops, to the wrong one here. Yeah, set relative transform. Applying the rotation. And the rotation. And we want to propagate to children. Ah. What did I do wrong? Maybe I had an illusion that it was working, but I was actually incorrect. Parental initial. Yeah, I thought I was on the right track. What's it saying here? Oh, look at this. It's telling us what the child and the parent relationship for the relative transform. How does that make sense? If we were to say, oh, you know what? It doesn't have any connection pin. Oh, darn. There we go, now it works. I was just about to start figuring something out here. I do want to know, like, what's the point of the child and the parent? Child item is set to set the transform for. Parent item to use. The child transform will be set in the space of the parent. I wonder how you can use that. Anyway, we got what we wanted, so that's good. So, let's see. If I wanted to take... what do I do next? Oh, I guess first of all I should put this onto the propeller post, because it's probably going to cause some chaos. And we gotta find out about that before we get too deep. I have no idea why they're going up. Let's see if we can switch this back to global space. Now they're all going down. Wow, I just had a mosquito hit me. Apparently they're getting into my house. Okay, well, it's definitely something changed as soon as I put it into the parent-child relationship. So it is a relative rotation. Dave says, mosquitoes are the worst. Good luck tonight while asleep. Yeah, I know. I didn't get them yet. I'm like, how many more mosquitoes do we have here? It's like... he's gonna get me. It's not now, it'll be later. It found me in here. I mean, like, the door is closed and everything. Like, how did it get in here? Figure it out. I don't even understand. Oh well. Propagated children. Relative transform. Parent initial. Alright, buddy. Got him. There we go. Mosquito resolved. If I put this back again, will it fix itself? Yes. There's definitely a direct relation to its parent. I wonder what that is. You'd think if I set it to global... Oh look, when I set it to global, it goes actually down. There's obviously some logic I'm not understanding here. Because if the rotation is... Oh, I wonder if I can see what the rotations are. Why can't I watch this value? Adds this pin or variable to the watch list. Maybe it's the input I have to watch. No, I can't do that either. I don't know, is it possible maybe to put the set transform of a spin controller afterwards? Match it with the propeller post. Oops. Well, maybe. I have to make sure I set. I'm setting translation, I'm getting transform. So I actually want, alright, let's just put the translation on there. Wow, that's even weirder. What's going on here? We've got a spin control in a totally different location. Oh, I guess that is transform of propeller code. Fair enough. I need the relative. I don't even know if I want that either. No. Well, let's try this. Child is the spin control. Whoa, don't do that. Child is a propeller post, and the parent is the spin control. No, it doesn't like that either. Clearly, I'm doing something wrong. Oh, what if I change this to local space? Wow, I'm really not making any sense right now. How come that's not even fully functioning anymore? Oh, here we go. I have to compile for a sec. Get it back again. Let's try this one more time. Alright, well, that's not what I want. I mean, it kind of could be, I suppose. If there's an argument saying that the position of where this spin controller is not really relevant, then... Oh, actually, why can't I just spin this? I mean, that would only make sense too, right? Like, why isn't it the whole post that spins? Oh, okay, so here I don't really need a spin controller. If I just did... I just read Dave's message. Burn the corpse! And I'm like, what? What is he talking about? Like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't read my message on time. Switch this to color post. Wow, what have I made? Crazy. The mosquito corpse. Yeah, I don't know where it is now. It would be the tiniest little bonfire ever. Well, the orientation of the propeller post definitely needs to be the same orientation as the relative blades. And I guess that's where the current problem is. We've got an orientation, two different orientations, and they're going through the same rotators. So they're telling X, Y, Z of the rotators to do one thing. But really, it's like, I don't even know if that even makes sense. I mean, maybe I'm not supposed to be telling the individual joints to rotate. Maybe I should just be saying, hey, just rotate the post. If the other ones are assigned to it. And then the only thing I have to worry about is not so much about rotating it from these posts, from those ones, is to get them to either go up or down or whatever it is that is required in order for it to collapse. So what do I do next? I gotta put the, instead of using the, I'm using the propeller post to drive, well, I'm basically driving, oh, the joint, that's what it is. And then we can just set rotation. Which, it already is set that way. I don't have to do it again twice. Oh, where's that post gone? Why has it disappeared? Oh, I see. I was trying to assign it a 0 value. So, I mean, you could just rotate it this way. But then you can't really do anything with it when it's rotating. So, you don't really want to do that way. But if you put the spin control parented to the propeller post using the same value as it, I think I can just do that. Let me just try for a minute here. Put it close and say initial from close from current. Set initial from closest joint. Alright, that would be the same orientation as the green one, so I guess that would work. So in that case, I want the spin control to only affect the rotation, which is almost what it's doing here. So we're only going to set the rotation of the post. And then back here, we're going to make sure that the propeller post only has translation to the other controller. I'm just going to take it right out of there because it's not convenient that they're two different places. So I have one controller that just translates and one controller that just rotates. So we're getting transform of the propeller controller, but we really just want the translation only. Oops.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget.
Okay, let's get it from here. Oh no, that's a spin control. Translate. So, propeller post control is modifying the post, and the spin control is controlling the control post rotation. And because the propeller post is parented to the spin control, I should be able to rotate. Not working. Must be forgetting something. I'm getting the post to rotate, so that's interesting. But I should be able to rotate the post control, and it rotates, but also translate it, which is currently working. I think the only thing I'm forgetting is to hit the parent to child, or propagate to children, which is turned on for that one, I guess. So I just need to turn that on so that all the rotations along the hierarchy will work. There we go. This is kind of a cool setup. So we rotate like this, and then you can translate, and nobody is the wiser that really there is this other controller in here called spin control that is specifically designed for rotation. And so this can be spinning away all you want, but meanwhile the control on the outside is fine. And there's no control for translation, so it won't do anything. Could actually see if we can limit the translation. Limit. Does that mean I can't move it anymore? It does. Oh, that was easy. But you can still rotate it. Nice. That's actually pretty good. And then let's put a different gizmo on here. Maybe we'll do a thin circle kind of thing. Oops. Okay. Guess it makes sense. You got one that you can translate, and this one you're supposed to just use to rotate. I don't know. You can always change it later, I guess. It's still possible that you could take that spin control and offset it to a different position, because technically it's translation is irrelevant. So if we were to, how do you do that? You have to just dictate it manually. So Z50, no, that's not the right value. 50, no, it's Y apparently. Minus 50, minus 25. I wonder if there's a better way to do this. It's like minus 40. Unless there's a way that oh, I got it. I was lucky. And then we'll make it bigger again. Oops. There we go. It's kind of cooler. So again, this you can rotate and translate. Oops, I hit undo. Don't do that. And then this is specifically only for rotating manually. Nice. Okay, I didn't need to do any of this stuff, although I might need that in a second, so maybe I'll just keep it there. And then if you did want the whole wings to collapse or to contract, I mean, I don't know if this is a big priority right now. Maybe we'll just leave that for more of an advanced thing. I'll comment this out so that it makes sense what's going on here. This is propeller post controls. Oh no. Oh, here. Controls. Do that for Dave's sake. Now what's next? What's next? Dave's still here. All right, I think it's going to be the overlap so that when I animate these up and down, when I animate this up and down, it's going to like make those propellers kind of do some secondary action, which I think is going to be nice. So that might relate to this, which is each individual blade. I'm going to grab a pair of them. Oh, I guess the base should be one of them. And create a collection. Bring them all in there. And we have to remember how that other system works. Which I forgot completely how to do. I forget what the word is that makes that feature work. And I'm just gonna have to go and open up the other one to find it because I don't even know what the first letter it starts with. So, where is that? Okay, which one was it? This one? No. What's the other one? This one? There we go. So this was the one where if you move it, slowly follows. It uses a node called Burley. So keep that over on the side here. And we'll do a search for Burley. Where it needs a transform or a translate. That we got from the transform of ARM22 control, which is, oh, it's just the main one here. If we get the transform of that, and we output the position that we're going to use, which goes into the invisible controller, which is actually where the IK vector is. It seems like you can add velocity and acceleration, which interesting. I'm not sure how you can use that. So in our case, we're actually trying to influence rotation data, but it's definitely coming from a concept of position. So we want translate, basically transform data from post control. So there's a for statement that I'm going to do later. Let's just focus on one joint right now. And we definitely want the propeller posts. You can grab the joint or the controller, but I think I'm just going to grab the joint. And grab its translation value. Because, and it's using global space, so that means it would be relevant whether the full character is moving around in the world, or as opposed to local space where it would only be relevant if this object was actually changing position, but I'd prefer it if it was like the whole object. And that's going to give us a slightly offset position of what this position is based on the values that we've got here for strength and stuff. Now somehow I have to translate the position offset into either a rotation offset or or we do an IK, and the end of the effector would have a translation offset. But it might be a little weird if it like translates inward. Because that would create this major flex. But we know that that object would not flex in this direction at all. So then you're like, oh geez, there's all these complicated variables that have to happen. So I don't know if that necessarily would, like, it'd be easier if it was just sort of like a rotation value, so that as the object moves down, we just put a slight rotation value onto these. And I mean, in theory, we get an XYZ, which, I mean, the XYZ is going to be not just a zero value, it's going to be the entire positional transform related to this. So that's not ideal either. And the way that we're doing it over here is we have the same position. ARM22 is the same position as the invisible node that it's trying to control. So it would be a one-to-one transfer of positional space. And right now what I've got in the other one is the position of this joint is down here, which is not anywhere near where this has to be. So there's already going to be a fairly large problem here, which I guess in theory, if I'm just looking for values to work with, I could in theory take this value, subtract it from its new value, and end up with a very small number. So I'm getting the bone transform, I'm sending it through a process of math, and then I would just take that original value, subtract it from this value, and then I'll get some kind of numbers that are not very big. That would be useful. And I could just apply these small values to the rotation of these joints just on a certain axis. This might work. Let's try it. So blade 1 base, maybe I'll keep these ones from being able to rotate. So it'll just be this one and that one. Oh, doing these ones over here, I guess. Blade base is in the core. I think if I just rotate this, oh, I can't just rotate it. I always forget that you can't do that. I think blade 3 doesn't have any influence. I could be wrong. I forget how it works, but all right, we'll just start with this one. So we're gonna get, well, we have set rotation, so maybe we'll just go straight to set rotation. Now, am I really trying to set it? Yeah, probably. So we'll just put, if we're using, see, now we're back to this global space conversation. Like, what if this object's rotated sideways? Would my Y up or Z up be different as opposed to if it was local space? I don't know, I guess we'll find out. It would be really handy if I could preview add visual debug. There we go. This is the feature I keep talking about, and I've never tried it yet. Well, no, I've never really tried it yet. There's supposed to be some way to see that in the world, I thought. I forget how visual debug works now. All right, we're just gonna apply. Oh, that's not gonna let me do this, is it? Oh boy, new problem. Okay, we have a couple rotators. We've set rotation. What does that look like? Oh, that's just any joint. What about rotator? Set controller rotator. All right. It's a bit different when you do it in blueprints, so I'm hoping, I'm like going through this going, I hope this works like I'm expecting it to. I wonder where my, there we go. Can we do a sequence? Ah, we can. Okay, good. Should probably set this up a little bit differently with sequence. And personally, I like having it so that it's not just one long snake of a thing. So if I put the sequence here, and then we'll just, so the top part will take care of, what are we doing here again? We're just taking the root. It's like master control, body control. So we'll put that up here. That way we don't have to continue this. And we'll bring the IKs of the legs down here. A little bit of house cleaning, keeping here going on. All right, then we have the propeller controllers. And now, stuff that I'm working on right now. It's like I've moved it from being horizontal to vertical. Maybe that's better? Maybe it's just the same problem in two different ways. What was I gonna do? Set. You're getting the transform, you're putting an offset on it. Then now we're going to set the controller, or make a, basically set a controller rotator. Oh, you actually get to say what you want to assign it to. I don't know how that works yet. Usually in blueprints you have this option to make a rotator, which allows you to convert a bunch of transforms into a rotation value, which can be pretty helpful because doing math on rotations is like ridiculous. I remember when I was trying to solve a problem where I was like, oh, I'll just sort out this rotator, and I was in like, I think I was rigging in Maya. And it's like, I was trying to read the documentation on it, and it's just got ridiculous. I'm like, whoa, way harder than I thought it would be. Like, start getting into like matrices and massive amounts of calculations. I'm like, no, that is not what I thought I was going to get into. And then you find like, oh, look, there's a node that makes a rotator. It's still really complicated. As soon as you get into like any kind of rotation math, it's just, I don't know, breaks my brain. Okay, so I have a value. I'm going to set, oh no, set the transform value of a given controller. It's not actually a rotation like I thought it would be. Set controller rotator. Well, let's try, except I want to do a joint, not a... I don't think I've actually solved anything yet. Alright. 2 rotator. Ooh, this looks good. Ooh, look. Goes from that value to this. So what was the alternative? Quaternion? Mutin. Mutin? Hey, I am the only one here. You thought you were the only one here. We've got Dave silently undercover here. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them my way. I'm happy to answer them. I'm just messing around with trying to get this control rig working for animators. And then we can figure out what the next problem needs to be solved is, which is going to be something pretty soon, I bet. Let's see if I can just type Quaternion. We say from Euler Quaternion. What does that do? That gives you... Oh, what's this? Oh, it gives you the blue. You put in the transform values, well, basically a vector. Tells it what the rotation order you want, and then it returns a rotation. Wow, that is very interesting. There's a whole conversation about the difference between Quaternion and Euler curves, and gets into all the conversation about gimbal lock and the difference between the maths. Euler has 3 different values, x, y, and z, and Quaternion has 4. So it's much harder to... Well, it is. It's much weirder for an animator to work with Quaternion, because it's just like, what is the 4th value for? and then it's possible with Quaternion to actually have a series of values that gives you an illegal orientation. So you can't just sort of arbitrarily throw numbers at it. You have to kind of put it in the right order. But with Euler, you can put whatever values you want in x, y, and z, and it will give you a rotation. And it'll give you a slightly different variation depending on what order it is. But it's because of the rotation order is why you have gimbal lock, because sometimes 2 of the axes actually line up on top of each other. And Euler math was actually invented first, and then, I don't know, 50 years later, someone invented Quaternion math for rotations, which solves all that gimbal lock problem. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily make it easy for animators. So Maya defaults to Euler rotations, and some other programs like Motion Builder and stuff do Quaternion. But when you get into like, I want to tweak my curve value, it's just not quite the same math. Oh look, there's our little debug node. It showed up. It's just right there, little block. Not really sure what exactly I'm showing it. I have to remember what it is I'm trying to fix, because I'm completely confused. Oh yeah, so one of these curves are supposed to be rotating since I did that. That one looks a little bit damaged, so I must be doing something here. Oh wait, it looks damaged no matter what I do. I guess I'm applying a 0 value to this rotation right now. So that would give you a broken output where they're all zeroed out. If I put this rotation to it, it must be still a 0 value because I'm not actually doing any vector relay offset that I'm subtracting from each other. So they're always a 0. If I do local space, oh, there we go. Now we're back to its original spot. And then let's see if I translate this. It actually worked. That's stupidly crazy. I did not only did it work, but I actually picked the right axis and everything. What are the odds? Shouldn't allow the animators to be able to do this. That would seem wrong. Let me see if I can specify which translations limits I have for that controller. So let's see how this works. We've got location, minimum, maximum. I guess 0 to 0 means you can't do anything. Oh wait, translated it to a different spot. Oh, that must be, maybe that's 0, 0 in the world. I don't know. I don't know. I actually a little bit confused on this one because initial transform. What do I put in here? My location? How do I lock it? I'm trying to limit it. Oh. I don't know. I guess in theory, if I'm driving it from the controller, no, but it's the controller I want to limit, not the joint. I don't know, whatever. I'll come back to that one. So anyway, we got this working, yay. It does seem like I can actually see here, there's a little bit of influence right at the edge of that propeller, which looks wrong. So I'm pretty sure this is the joint that I'm manipulating. That little debug controller option is totally not helping me because it doesn't tell me anything interesting. Maybe, like, I'm gonna turn it off. Remove visual debug. Can we, like, debug a rotator? Oh yeah, I think I can see it. It's just showing me a little bit of axis there. Oh, look, it is actually using... Wait, why is it showing me it on that joint? Pretty sure it's this joint over here that's rotating. I guess maybe the debugger, its position for the debugger is just based on the 0 point of that. I don't know what. How did it choose that position? I have no idea. Okay, so this works fine. The issue with that N bit moving is just skinning, so I can work on that. I need to make a second joint afterwards. That's... Oh, that didn't work. So I'm grabbing the joints here. So Plato 1, Plato 2, set rotation. I think we can just use the same value. Make sure that's local space. This one says propagate to children. It's probably a good idea. Otherwise, it would just be the only joint that moves. See, now I can't even tell the difference between one or the other. Alright, I'm going to disconnect this one. Wow, reroute? What does that mean? That's awesome, but totally different than what I'm used to. Oh, neat. Alright. Okay, good. So we do have a little bit of rotation on the end joint as well. Again, you can see a little bit of influence, so my skinning is not very perfect. But it means that what we got here is working. I would need to reproduce this whole thing multiple times for each of the 3 blades, which I've got this collection for the row of blades, but I actually just want I'm grabbing from propeller post. Oh geez, maybe I'm yeah, sure. Strange, I need this. What do I do? 1 and 2. I only did 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Make a collection for this. See if this is a good idea or not. I'm gonna do a collection. I'm gonna create a for loop for each item. Let's pull it from here first. Each one of these joints are going to come out in the collection. And each of them is going to run something very similar to this. And each execution will execute this. Wait, I gotta do this. Okay, what am I doing here? Yeah, that's just the second joint, so this is irrelevant. That was something it's the same but different joint. So we're gonna focus on the one looping collection here. And local space, rotation's the same value, propagate to children true. We don't care about what happens when it's completed. Compile. Wow, look at that. They all worked. That was too easy. That is pretty fun though. Alright, let's change the values of the relay so that it's not quite as floppy. 16, I guess. Try it a lower one. Oh no, that makes it much sloppier. We'll do 256. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, it definitely feels right. That's like, actually looks pretty good, like a pretty real problem here. And you grab your propeller spinner thingy. I don't have any way to animate test it. Although maybe there is a way to animate test it, I don't know. We haven't got to that part yet. We do have that little bit of skinning problem still. I mean, basically, if I put anything else in this collection, it would just start influencing that as well. So in theory, I could add those last joints, these ones right at the base here. What I don't have control over is like the tension of each one. So But I think it's working fine here, but the tension on this one probably should be a little stiffer if I was going to do it. But I could, in theory, add a joint called the main one. It's like a base or something. Here it is, base of 1. Oh yeah, that works great. Wow, that totally messed it all up. How did I mess it all up with one joint? That's ridiculous. I hope I can... Yeah. Oh, it's just the one propeller that was off. Alright, so its local space is different. Well, let's not worry about that then. We'll just keep it like this. And then we need to worry about the skinning a little bit, but I don't know, it's not a huge deal. I think what we got to figure out now is, well, two things. Either we could do a test animation, since we're pretty much at that state. I think there's 3 things, actually. Or we could figure out how to, like, rotate these up, which may cause some issues if we were to change its orientation, as these values now will be incorrect. Although if you change the orientation of it, you would want to do it after. Maybe the order that we do this would matter. So we'd figure out this value, like the overlap value, and then we change its orientation afterwards. Oh, but then I guess the overlap value is going to be weird because it's like flopping. It's on the wrong axis at that point. And what was the axis that we're getting it from again? Propeller post. So yeah, that's not going to change. We're only using the... Oh no, we're using all X, Y, and Z values. Oh, interesting. So if I do it this way, will it work in a different way? Weird. I mean, if I wanted to say only one axis, I would have to do this instead. Which means up and down won't do anything. But I was noticing that the value does not seem accurate, so maybe it's the XYZ order. I don't know how to fix that one necessarily. Z though, Z is the right axis that I was expecting it to be, so that's good. So we should be able to get the up and down, but then if we go side to side, nothing happens. If we change this so Z is not the first letter anymore, does that change anything? No, it seems to be still good. Oh well, anyway, that's kind of neat. Not really sure what to think of that, but maybe it'll cause some problems, maybe not. I still got half an hour, so let's try to figure out how to fold these wings up, right? That seems like a priority. Oh, I better do some tests here, make sure everything still moves fine. Oh, look, it works fine for global movement after all. I was worried it was only going to be related to local translations. I think this actually has to be higher. It's a bit too floppy still. I don't know. You can always play with it, I guess. And the rotation. Does that still... Oh yeah, we TED is already... I'm really like taking my time here. I don't really want to do the whole setup and then go, oh, I missed something really obvious. Let's add another pin. How do I add another pin? Wow, can you only have 4? Is that a limitation? I have to do another sequence to do a sequence. Wow, what did I just do there? That was crazy. Alright, well, I guess a sequence. Do that. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a little more housekeeping here and label these guys the I should really submit all my progress here. Blade overlap. File, save. Let's do a submit to source control, where it will find all the assets that need to be submitted. Two files. Give it a bit of a description, keep them checked out, send them off to the server. Okay, and then let's put the blades folding. I'm taking forever to do this. I'm just like, how am I gonna do this? So we have these 3 blades. I'm actually more worried that it's just me telling these blades to do anything is gonna cause them to like in the wrong place, because I only want that one axis to rotate up. So how do I rotate them up? I guess I need another control that's going to represent, I mean, if you translate it up, it's going to be tricky. Where am I going to get this rotation value from? And I guess I did it already, in a way. I took a translation value and assigned it to a rotation value. So I could do the same thing. So I'm going to call this one... I feel like the blade orientation going down... Well... Oh, it doesn't matter. Alright. Blade folding attached to propeller post. We're going to move it and make it so that it's in the same location as these blades. Set initial to closest joint. And let's see. The idea is you take this controller and you move it up and it will rotate the 3 joints equally till they, and then we can limit, I guess, the translation values that it can go. We're going to get the control of the blade folding, transform, and think we're going to do this for loop already. Grab this from the sequence. And each of these items we're going to set rotation. Sure we don't execute it off of like completed. That doesn't make any sense. Say local space. It's already trying to do stuff. Setting them to 0. We're gonna take the transform. I'm literally just gonna steal this. Where is it here? From Euler. I only want the Z, because that's the up and down. Guess I'm going to assign that to the rotation. It means your X and Y are going to have to be 0, which is going to kind of screw up probably its default rotation value. Propagate to children. Wow, okay, they all went down. Oh, we're actually getting something. It's just that its default value is 0, which I think the default value probably should be more like 90. If we did global space, what would we get differently? Oh, it goes horizontally. So if we just added 90 to this, would we get... Oh, yeah. Kind of works. And then we want it a little bit faster, so we want to multiply that. Is my camera broken? It is broken. Ah, camera fail. Oh yeah, I have discovered that my computer is slowly dying on me. I've noticed that my fans on my case have stopped working. So I think my computer is overheating. Or my motherboard is dying and I'm losing hard drive. Because I'm noticing my camera is now powered down, so I think it's my computer's dying on me. I have been knowing this for a while, but it seems to be getting worse, so I may actually have to go out of my way to use this. Oh, you're frozen. Yeah, that's true. It's not a terrible face to be frozen on. I've had worse. But I may actually go and buy a new motherboard and start assembling a new computer, because I need to have one that works. And I feel like it's my motherboard that's causing all these problems. Unless Dave has a new idea. I never did replace the hard drive. It's still sitting right here. And I'm partially... Actually, you can't see my camera, so I don't know why I think I'm going to show it to you. And it's partially because I'm just not really sure why the other hard drive is dying on me. And I feel like it is related to this. Like, it's either my PSU that is dying, but I don't think it is, because my computer's not crashing. It's just USB functionality is slowly dying, and I guess it's also the what the heck does the hard drives plug into again? SATA drive. SATA ports are also dying. It just seems like there's a power shortage, and it might be, I don't know. I'm willing to think it's motherboard related. Dave says some BIOS on them, some motherboards have internal temperature monitors. You could always, after the stream, reboot and enter the BIOS to see if it reports what the temperature of the motherboard and CPU are. Yeah, I should probably be able to find out what the CPU power... Oh, actually, I probably do have a monitor for it. I haven't looked at it in a long time. My computer is pretty hot because I got this Unreal open. And I happen to know that my case, the fans on my case are not turning anymore, which they were, and then they just stopped. So it's not helping the problem because they used to blow air across my motherboard. Windows events may also report temperature problems. Okay, well I haven't had any of the problems like that. Like I've never even had blue screens or anything recently. Well, I did have one the other day, but it's been pretty stretched out. Although if I suddenly disappear, we'll know why. Potentially. I can't find this thing. Oh, here it is. IQ. Let's see if I can get to the use space. Oh, it needs an update. I can't bring it over to my other computer here. Well, anyway, I mean my other monitor. See if I got any information I can get from here. I don't know if I can. I need this other one, which is on the wrong monitor here. Anyways, I'll just tell you what it says. What does it say? It says my motherboard is 55 degrees Celsius. And it's telling me the fans are spinning, which I don't think they are. Oh, maybe it's different fans. My CPU is at 56 Celsius. And my graphics card is at 61 degrees Celsius. So, I don't know. My graphics card is a little more hotter. Oh, missing some messages here. Dave says, okay, yeah, fans are not working, will definitely be a problem. Yeah, it's the case fans. Definitely isn't helping the problem, that's for sure. Hey, Gash is here, welcome. Late to the party. Is that a propeller type thing? I've wondered for years the best way to do something like that. Fast wings or propellers, how to fake it well, or however it's done. Yeah, I mean, I think faking the propeller spinning is a really interesting conversation, and I don't really have any idea right now of how to do it, but like I've kind of broken the rig here for a sec, but the idea is that let me just disconnect this for a second. That we have some cool overlap bounce on the wings, so we can have it move around. We have the ability to rotate using the post, but it also, the ring around here is the one that you would use to rotate the propellers. So I would expect if you were doing a sequencer, we could just put like a looping animation just on this, just to keep going infinitely and spin it really fast or slow or whatever. And then meanwhile, you still have this controller that you can use to move it around, and also, you know, potentially rotate it a little bit if you wanted to hand key how it stops. So that's the setup that we did today, and it's kind of ready to go. I'm just trying to set up something now that lets you fold the wings up. Yeah, the wiggle is awesome. I was pretty impressed that it just worked right away. I mean, I struggled for a little bit to try to get the hang of it, but now that we got it in there, it's pretty fun. It's like, wow, that really adds to the feeling that it's like a real thing in a real world. And you're like just moving around parts. It's pretty cool. It actually makes me think, like, wonder what else we could do. Like, could we add some kind of engine rumble or something to this so that it like it's like bouncing around a little bit, and then that would force it to be like seem a little bit more like it's finicky. That technically would be a bit of an animation thing, I guess, but it's possible that we could drive it with some kind of curve data. I don't think I've ever tried to do that yet. To add some kind of curve value. Wow, that was really easy. Maybe we should try this. See if we can add a curve value. What are we gonna do? It would have to be a loop. Oh geez, that's how you can get the propeller to spin. But then yeah, again, you have to like, you want to control it. You want to say turn down the propeller or whatever. This would just kind of infinitely have it running. Let's see your body controls. We'll do it here. Because the animator can just do this too. They don't have to come in here and set up a crazy control rig for it. All right, so we're setting. Well, actually, we're setting the bone transform, which is totally fine. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll set base body. We just set the rotation afterwards. Local space. Put the rotator on there. Oh no, is it a different color blue? Source and target pins are not the same type. Is that a light blue? It looks like the same blue to me. I guess the curve is only a one-dimensional, so we need a three value curve. Well, one of the things we've learned how to do recently. I wonder if we can like, what else we got here? Evaluate curve. Turns it into a curve. Curve harmonics. Form chain-based simulation. What the heck does that mean? What? I don't know if that's in the right direction or not. Oh man, so many things to learn still. Evaluate curve. Evaluates the provided curve. Values are normalized between 0 and 1. So there was something that we just learned about with the Euler and Quaternion. So you could say from Euler, so this value should go into there. And then we could put this into, oh my goodness, it's not even that type of value. What is this thing? Figured it would be like a float output, but apparently not. Convert it to a float? Holy cow. Oh, it's got all the tangent handles and stuff in it. External curve. I have no idea. There's your value out though. But what do you got? 2 key points. You got the key point 0 and 1. How how would you use that over a period of time? They're just keys. You have to like get the time valuation from it. Maybe that's the whole challenge, is you can't just, it's like, well, what do you want? What part of that curve are you actually asking for? Where's select? What does that mean? Index. Oh, maybe the index is the time. What's your result? It's just a value. A same problem. Oh well. Never figured it out. Oh, and I think I just crashed things. But it's hard to tell because it looked like, since my camera's broken, my whole computer had frozen. Well, I'm down to 10 minutes, so I think we should try an animation because I'm not going to get this figured out fast enough because currently the problem was when I did this, all the blades went to the same direction, so it was kind of what I was worried about. I need to grab, like, oh wait, what's this? Oh yeah, I need to grab the positional space of each joint and then assign it, which, well, I don't know, I guess you could technically get, oops, I gotta get this one. Get relative, well, I get transform, get relative transform. So you could get the rotation value. And split it to Quaternion. So you end up with output results. So we're getting this is blue values, the Quaternion curve, and we're turning it into an Euler curve, which is just a simple XYZ, so we can get the XYZ and say I want the XY to be the same. And then the Z is the one that I'm controlling. And then it turns it back into a Quaternion before it puts it back in there. And it didn't work anyway, so that was just a tease. Oh wait, I haven't put the translation in there. Wait, we're not talking about translation. Why would it need a vector? Oh, I guess it's the... Yep, I don't know. So, I'm totally... Oh, propagate to children did seem to make a difference. Yeah, it's just all messed up because I'm moving these internal joints, but I'm not moving the outside ones. That's why it looked like it was working. Okay, let's see if we can get it into sequencer here before my whole computer shuts down. And then we're gonna take the control rig. Let's make a new folder called Cinematic. I wonder if there's a way that I can kickstart my camera back on again. I don't know. There's a way that I can do that or not. And inside here we're gonna make a animation sequence, level sequence, and we're gonna call it testing flyer robot. Save it, open it up. Okay, so in here we need to bring in the control rig, and there are very specific rules about how control rig works when you're trying to bring in a sequencer. And I actually forgot to try this idea first. So you take the control rig, you drag it into your level, and when you do that, it builds a sequencer for you. There we go, that's the best idea. And it applies the right control rig to it. So that's really a great way to do it. If you did it any other way, you would probably have a lot more problems. Did it by chance? No, see, it didn't even put it in my existing sequencer, so I was kind of the wrong thing to do. Another way that you could have done it was, you know, open up the sequencer, drag in the control rig into your sequencer, and I have learned from experience that does not work. So you don't want to do that. But here's the level sequence now. So I'm gonna move that over here. It's automatically created the level sequence, automatically brought it in, and hopefully also we need to switch our mode to animation, which is a part of the plugin for control rig. And when I select character, our control rig has all the controls show up. Pretty sure animation was important to that. I don't know, maybe not. Anyways. Oh, maybe because I still have it on. Oh no, I've closed it. Now it won't open again. That doesn't make any sense. Why did I switch it to that and it suddenly switched to animation? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, inside of here you get a few options that might be useful for you, where you can display the hierarchy, you can display the manipulators or not, which is sometimes useful if you're trying to play back. There's other really good ones in there, and I only select control rig. Oh, that one's pretty cool. Okay, so now that we have our character in here, we're gonna try a little bit of a test. We've got 5 minutes, lots of time. Should be easy. And we're gonna key everything, just like you would in Maya, where you hit your S key to default all the keys. And let's see what we're gonna do here. That is 15 frames. That seems like a long 15 frames. All right, key this location as well. So I'm not quite ready yet, but at one point the idea would be that you could like have the robot sort of put itself in a sort of a like a storage mode or something, and that could be your idle positional space. As you can see, it comes with challenges. Let's switch this to local positioning. Oh, that's not too bad then. If I grabbed all these controllers with local positioning on, really? I actually really thought this was gonna work. It's weird. They all seem to have different local spaces. Alright, never mind. Let's turn on auto key so that I don't have to repose everything. Ah, too late. So if I put the can on the bottom, move these guys up close. Just curious to know what he will look like when he's in a compact mode here. Alright. He's kind of like... he's on ice. And then obviously I didn't get to the one part that really mattered here. It's like, kind of need those wings folded so they're nice and compact in there. That would be the idea. Let me just copy those over here. And then if he wanted to get up, I think some of the legs should stay still. So that he has the appearance that he's not on ice. So for example, this one, Control C, Control V. And then maybe we'll do the back corner. Control C, Control V. And then these ones, they'd want to be up and out. Well, maybe not too much up because it's really hard to do. I really want to do a little bit of asymmetry here if I can. Oh, that's not going to work. They really want to go into the body. It's possible that we could look into ways to limit it. I'm running out of time here. Having too much fun. It's possible we could look into ways to limit this so that it doesn't it's not so easy to get that knee to go through its body or whatever. Anyway, so you know, this is kind of the idea though. You kind of have some fun with it and get the body to eventually have a little bit of asymmetry somehow. So that when you get to the top, maybe we're leaning over a little bit. Oh look, found a bug. Seems as though I may have broken it. It may have been when we were trying to test out that curve thing. I may have left it in a state was broken. Anyway, that's the idea. What we got? It is so broken. Anyway, I'm gonna have to leave it there. I had this plan. I was gonna see if it actually could fix that broken state there. It's just in the control rig. I just want to see for a second before we quit. Yes, I have offset. I added that node still there. That's why. Compile, save. So this is the nice thing about control rig is that you can just make changes on the fly, and all of a sudden things start working again. You don't have to like re-export the skeleton and do all these crazy things. Just make quick changes. Anyways, that's about as far as I'm going to be able to get to here, even though really I'm starting to have fun doing some animations here. So to recap, another thing I wanted to say was next week I'm probably going to take the week off or try to find someone else to replace the stream for me so that I can take care of some stuff on Thursdays for a week, and then I'll be back. We'll try to get this set up so that the animators can have a play with it, and then maybe when we come back after a couple weeks, I don't know, I'm sure we'll have a chance to evaluate what it is we should focus on and have some fun with things. But I think at this point the control rig is pretty much ready to go. for people to play with it, and you know, obviously there's some more features we have to add to it. So maybe I'll just sit there and work away at the features a little more. But anyway, I will leave it there. It's ridiculous because my camera is totally broken and I can't do anything about it. So I will say goodbye. Thanks for everybody for showing up, and appreciate all the anyone still there. Appreciate Cash and Dave and everyone else who showed up. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks. All right, take care, everybody.